It was a chilly evening in late October when Mr. Tony, a retired train conductor in his mid-70s, first walked into my clinic. He looked worn out, with deep circles under his eyes and a quiet stiffness in his movements. What brought him in wasn't chest pain or high blood pressure. It was something far simpler, and yet so often overlooked. "Doctor," he said gently, "I just can't sleep through the night anymore. My feet feel like blocks of ice, and I wake up 2, sometimes 3 times for no reason." He wasn't on any serious medication. His heart was functioning reasonably well. But I could sense the fatigue in his voice, the kind that builds up not just from poor sleep, but from a body silently struggling to keep up with itself. Most people assume that poor sleep in old age is just part of the deal, that waking up tired or tossing and turning is inevitable. But what if it isn't? What if there's something deeper going on, and something far simpler we can do to help? As I continued to ask Tony about his habits, what time he sleeps, his fluid intake, whether he naps in the day, I noticed something in his evening routine. He rarely ate anything after 6 p.m., and when he did, it was often toast or crackers. Nothing more. Nothing nourishing. Nothing supportive of a body preparing to rest and repair. That's when I asked him a question he hadn't expected. "Tony, what do you eat before bed?" He blinked. "Nothing, really. Should I be eating something?" What I told him next would soon transform his nights, from restless and cold to deeply restoring. And it starts with understanding one crucial connection that too many seniors are missing. I'm Dr. David. Over the past 35 years, I've had the privilege of caring for older adults through all stages of aging. But there's one memory that still lingers vividly. Tony's case reminded me that sometimes the smallest shifts, like what we eat before bed, can create the biggest change. Tony's question, "Should I be eating something?" was more important than he realized. Because when we talk about sleep in older adults, we often forget one silent partner that makes or breaks a good night's rest: circulation. You see, as we age, our blood vessels naturally become less elastic. Our heart has to work a little harder to push blood to our hands, feet, brain, and muscles. This becomes even more challenging at night when the body enters repair mode and blood flow slows down. For someone like Tony, who already felt cold feet and restless legs, that drop in nighttime circulation was making things worse. It wasn't just about discomfort. It was about his entire body struggling to relax. Healthy circulation at night isn't just about warming your limbs. It's what allows your brain to receive enough oxygen to slip into deeper stages of sleep. It's what helps your heart maintain a steady rhythm. And it's how your muscles recover and your nerves settle down after a long day. When circulation is sluggish, seniors don't just feel cold. They feel anxious, wake up often, and miss out on the most healing parts of the sleep cycle. You may think you slept 6 hours, but if your blood wasn't flowing properly, your body likely didn't rest at all. That's why what we eat before bed matters more than most people think. A food that supports blood flow can gently open up blood vessels, help the heart relax, and send soothing signals to the nervous system. This chain reaction doesn't just help you fall asleep faster, it helps you stay asleep longer and wake up feeling truly restored. I remember gently explaining this to Tony, showing him how circulation and sleep were deeply intertwined. "You don't need a sleeping pill," I told him. "You need to help your blood do its job while you rest." And that conversation opened the door to a solution he never expected. One that didn't come in a bottle, but from his kitchen. We'll get to that soon. But first, we need to explore how the food we eat affects our body's natural rhythm of rest. Most people don't associate food with sleep. We think of dinner as the final event of the day, something we finish before retreating to the couch or heading to bed. But inside your body, food does more than satisfy hunger. It gives instructions, and when chosen carefully, those instructions can help you drift into deep, healing rest. I told Tony, "Your body doesn't shut down at night. In fact, it does its most important repair work while you sleep. Muscles rebuild, brain cells detoxify, hormones rebalance. But all of these processes rely on proper nutrients and a calm, steady flow of blood to carry them where they're needed. Sleep is a neurochemical dance. And food is part of the orchestra. Certain nutrients send signals that help your brain slow down, quiet your thoughts, and relax your body. Others help your blood vessels open, your heart rate settle, and your stress hormones ease. And some even help your body produce melatonin, the hormone that whispers, "It's time to rest." For example, magnesium calms the nervous system and helps regulate circadian rhythms. Zinc supports melatonin production. Tryptophan is a natural precursor to serotonin, which later becomes melatonin. Then there's potassium, which helps muscles relax and prevents cramping through the night. These aren't exotic supplements. They're found in everyday foods, if you know where to look. On the other hand, some late-night choices work against us. Sugary snacks cause blood sugar spikes and crashes, which can lead to restless sleep and midnight awakenings. Heavy or processed meals burden digestion, diverting energy from restoration. Even salty foods can trigger thirst and bathroom trips at 2 a.m. Tony had never thought about food in this way before. For years, he skipped dinner or grabbed a cracker or two thinking it was lighter and better. But it left him depleted. Once he understood that sleep wasn't just about avoiding noise or taking a pill, but about feeding the body what it needs to repair, he was open to trying something new. And that's when I introduced him to a simple, natural combination that would change everything for him, just as it has for many others. That evening, as Tony sat across from me with curiosity in his eyes, I told him something that made him raise an eyebrow. "I want you to try eating beets and pumpkin seeds before bed." He chuckled. "Beets? At night?" "Yes," I said with a smile, "exactly at night. You see, beets are one of nature's richest sources of dietary nitrates. When consumed, those nitrates are converted into nitric oxide, a compound that helps relax and widen your blood vessels. This improves blood flow to every part of the body, especially the hands, feet, heart, and brain. And unlike medications that force your system to respond, nitric oxide works gently, in harmony with your body's natural rhythms. I've seen seniors who used to wake up with cold fingers and tingling legs feel warmth return to their extremities after just a few days of adding beets to their evening routine. One small beet, steamed or roasted, was enough to make a difference. But beets are only half the picture. I also asked Tony to add a small handful of pumpkin seeds, just about a tablespoon. Pumpkin seeds are rich in magnesium, a mineral that plays a key role in calming the nervous system and supporting deep sleep. They also contain zinc, which helps the body convert tryptophan into serotonin and eventually melatonin, the very hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycle. Together, beets and pumpkin seeds create a gentle partnership. One opens the blood vessels to allow better oxygen flow. The other soothes the nervous system and signals the brain that it's safe to sleep. It's a combination I've quietly recommended for years, especially to older patients who want to avoid medications or are tired of feeling groggy in the morning. Tony agreed to give it a try. He promised to keep a small journal of how he felt each night and whether anything changed. Neither of us expected dramatic results overnight. But sometimes, the most powerful changes don't come with fanfare. They come in the form of a deeper breath, a warmer hand under the blanket, or waking up just once instead of 3 times. And within just 1 week, Tony's sleep began to shift. Tony wasn't the only one who felt a shift. Over the years, I've quietly recommended this beet and pumpkin seed combination to dozens of my patients. What began as a curious experiment has become a gentle nighttime ritual for many of them, bringing warmth to the body, quiet to the mind, and sleep to the soul. Let me tell you about 3 of them. Linda, age 71, came to me with a common complaint. "Doctor, I can't stay asleep. I fall asleep fine, but I wake up every 2 hours, and I always feel cold." She had tried herbal teas, warm baths, and even melatonin, but nothing seemed to work. When I suggested beets and pumpkin seeds an hour before bed, she looked skeptical. Still, she tried it. A week later, her voice had changed. "I can't explain it," she said, "but I don't wake up shivering anymore. My feet actually feel warm. I still wake up once, but I fall right back asleep. That hasn't happened in years." Then there was Joseph, 68, a retired school principal who struggled with high blood pressure and light sleep. His concern wasn't just insomnia. It was the way he woke up, foggy, groggy, and tense. He began roasting his beets with a bit of olive oil and sea salt, pairing them with pumpkin seeds for a late snack. Within 2 weeks, his sleep tracker showed deeper sleep patterns. "I still get up early," he laughed. "But I don't feel like I've been hit by a truck. I feel rested. That's new." Finally, Mary, 64, a widow who had trouble falling asleep due to racing thoughts and anxiety. She often found herself pacing the house past midnight. After introducing the combo and journaling nightly, she noticed something she hadn't felt in a long time: peace. "It's subtle," she told me, "but I actually look forward to going to bed now. I'm not dreading the night anymore." Each story is different, yet they all point to the same truth. When we give the body what it truly needs, like warmth, nutrients, and support, it remembers how to rest. And when the body rests, healing begins. After hearing stories like Tony's, Linda's, and Mary's, many of my patients ask the same thing. So how exactly should I prepare this? The answer is simple. It doesn't require a fancy recipe or special ingredients. Just 2 natural foods prepared with care can work quietly in your body while you sleep. Start with 1 small beet. You can steam it, roast it, or even boil it gently. Steaming tends to preserve most of the nutrients, but any method will work as long as the beet is soft and easy to digest. Some people enjoy slicing it into thin rounds and sprinkling a little cinnamon or ginger on top to add warmth and flavor. Next, take about 1 tablespoon of unsalted pumpkin seeds. These can be eaten raw, but I often recommend lightly toasting them in a dry pan for 2 or 3 minutes. This brings out a rich, nutty aroma and makes them easier to digest. Make sure not to add salt, especially at night, since excess sodium can raise nighttime blood pressure or trigger thirst that interrupts sleep. You can enjoy the beet and the pumpkin seeds as 2 separate small snacks, or, if you prefer, blend them into a warm smoothie with a splash of unsweetened almond milk. Some of my patients add a pinch of turmeric or a few drops of vanilla extract. The key is to keep it light, simple, and easy to digest. Ideally, eat this about 60 to 90 minutes before bedtime. This gives your body time to begin breaking down the nutrients and easing into relaxation. If you take medications at night, be sure to check with your doctor or pharmacist first. And if you're prone to kidney stones, especially the kind related to oxalates, you may want to limit your beet intake to just twice a week. But for most seniors, this combination is not only safe, it's deeply supportive. It's a small act of kindness you offer your body at the end of the day. And over time, night after night, it becomes more than a snack. It becomes a signal that says, "You've done enough, it's time to rest now." Tony returned to my clinic a few weeks later. He looked different. His posture was lighter, his eyes more alert. But what struck me most was the way he spoke. "I didn't expect it to work," he admitted. "I didn't even think food could make a difference, but now I wake up only once, sometimes not at all, and I feel warm when I wake up. My feet aren't frozen anymore." That may sound like a small thing, but to Tony, and to so many others, it was everything. Good sleep is more than the absence of tossing and turning. It's a foundation for healing. When your circulation is strong, your heart doesn't have to strain through the night. Your brain receives the oxygen it needs to recover. Your nerves relax, your muscles soften, and your spirit, after a long day, finally finds peace. I've spent decades helping older adults navigate the challenges of aging. And I've learned that the most powerful interventions are often the simplest ones. A warm beet, a few seeds, a quiet moment before bed. These are the gentle rituals that restore us. Too often, we treat sleep like an on-off switch, expecting our bodies to obey the clock. But your body is wiser than that. It responds not to commands, but to care. When you offer it the right support, when you feed it what it needs, and allow it space to unwind, it rewards you with rest. Not just sleep, but real, replenishing rest. If you are over 60 and struggling with restless nights, cold limbs, or that deep feeling of exhaustion that no nap can fix, I invite you to try this. Just 7 nights, beets and pumpkin seeds. Nothing complicated, nothing extreme. You may be surprised, not just by how well you sleep, but by how you feel the next morning. Warmer, calmer, sharper, stronger. That's the gift of proper circulation. That's the power of nourishment. And that, more than anything, is what sleep was always meant to be.